There are a million reasons why a student would withdraw a whole semester. The question is, what happened next? Welcome to Ask Dr. Gray Premed Q&A. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, Dr. Gray?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to have a chat with you and hopefully get some answers for your questions.
Yes, I'm excited to talk to you too. I've been following you since my freshman year of college, so it's coming full circle.
Well, let me hear what you have.
So, I'm in a little bit of a unique situation. My very first semester of my freshman year, I had to withdraw 2.5 weeks into the semester. So I missed the withdraw drop deadline by a few days where it would have not shown up as a W, but
Yep,
it's fine.
no big deal.
So, yeah, I had to leave due to, well, my mom got really sick. And basically it's only been me and her kind of growing up.
Mhm.
And I've helped her financially. So not only did she get sick, but she couldn't really keep up with the finances that we needed, for her to sustain like living. And so I had to come home and help her with her health, but also help with the house.
Okay.
And I had to take that semester off. So I started the following semester at a very similar college, not the same one, but they're both 4-year private Catholic institutions, so very similar in that sense.
Okay.
And that's where I'll be finishing a week from now.
Okay.
And
Congrats.
so, thank you. Obviously, I'm very worried that these adcoms are going to see my application and they're going to say, wait, whoa, the student has like 5 withdrawals right off the bat. What's going on
Yep.
here?
Yeah. Is that your only concern?
Well, that and then I had one more
Okay.
concern that's, like,
Yeah.
different.
Well, let me put that first concern to bed because it's not an issue. There are a million and one reasons why a student would start college and withdraw immediately and withdraw from all of their classes. Whether you had health issues, your mom had health issues, just homesickness and you just weren't ready, financial issues, there are a million reasons why a student would withdraw a whole semester. The question is, what happened next? And it sounds like for you, whenever you started school back, you're obviously on the path to graduate. So I'm assuming things have been steady and consistent since you started back. That's your story. The withdrawals at the beginning, they won't mean anything in the grand scheme of things.
Okay. And do you, like, have any recommendation of where I could explain that on
You
the
don't.
application?
You don't need to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
not that big of a deal. A whole semester of withdrawing, again, could mean a million things. And smart people who are reviewing your applications have seen all of those a million things. And at the end of the day, it just doesn't matter.
Okay.
It just
Well,
doesn't matter.
well,
What matters is big picture. What happened since you gone back? Or if the withdrawals, for anyone else listening or watching, if the withdrawals were your like spring of your sophomore year or your junior year, then it's like, okay, well, what happened before? What happened after? The whole semester of withdrawal doesn't really matter. Again, a smart person looking at an application and looking at those transcripts would go, something happened here. I don't think it really matters what happened before, what happened after. And the same thing's going to happen with you. What happened before? Well, nothing really, because it was your first semester. What happened after? You went back to school, you restarted. And for you, maybe there's even a bigger explanation just in terms of what someone would read into it because you changed schools. And so someone reading into it would go, this school obviously wasn't a fit, right? They don't even have to know about your mom. This school obviously wasn't a fit. She withdrew. She started at another school, and she's done well since, assuming you've done well. So again, you don't need to explain it at all in your application. There's really not a spot for it. The only place potentially where there's a spot would be in your secondary essays. There are oftentimes a question if you've had any interruptions in your schooling since you started college. And there's an opportunity there. Now, the question potentially comes down to, is there any benefit in you mentioning it somewhere to show kind of your resilience and your determination and what you've had to go through helping your family? Now, I typically am not a fan of kind of forcing in those narratives into an application to go, hey, look at everything that I've had to do.
Yep.
Maybe it comes up in a disadvantaged essay because you've had to take care of your mom financially and the family financially through this time. There may be an opportunity there for a disadvantaged essay.
Right.
There's definitely an opportunity in terms of your activity list, mentioning obviously what you were doing, and in the description briefly talking about the kind of reason why you were doing those things in terms of needing to support your family during this time.
Right. I was thinking about doing it in a disadvantaged essay.
Okay.
I didn't know if that would be appropriate. I don't want to kind of be sticking my, I don't want to be, pitied by any
That's every student's fear, and it's completely unfounded fear, right? It's not a pity statement. It's here's what I've had to go through and why I think it puts me at a little bit of a disadvantage. That's all it is.
Okay, great. So that actually, you calmed my fears with that really quickly. So thank you for that.
Yep.
And then I also wanted to ask you another question. So just break down really quick. My freshman year, I had a 3.59 science GPA.
Okay.
My junior year, it was a 3.78 science GPA. And my senior year was a 4.0.
Great.
However,
However,
my sophomore year, my science GPA took a toll, 2.75. No C's, which is kind of funny how that works out. You could avoid getting C's, but it will still could be really low. But no C's or C pluses, B minuses caused that.
Yep.
And so my cumulative science GPA ended up, well, it should, I'll know in a week, but the way it's looking, it should be a 3.58 science GPA by the end of it all. And I know you talk about how GPAs aren't everything.
I'll just stop you there. A 3.58, you said?
Yeah.
That's a good GPA.
Okay.
There's nothing to be concerned about. And again, you have this dip sophomore year. Someone's going to go, what happened here? And then you bounce back.
Okay.
The bounce back tells a bigger story than that final number. And the final number is not even bad.
Okay. Yeah, I get a little worried, and you're gonna laugh at me, but I have to get off SDN.
Yes, you do.
I gotta get off of it.
Yes, I want to see SDN crumble to the ground because of these unfounded fears. A 3.58 is a solid GPA. It's not, oh my God, it's amazing 3.9. Who cares?
Okay.
Right? You are much more than that GPA number. And this is where I can never scream loud enough that the story behind your GPA is much more important than that final number. Okay. You starting off well with the 3.5-ish GPA freshman year, dropping down and then crushing it junior and senior year tells a much bigger story than just that final number.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. Thank you. Because I also didn't know if, admissions people get a little bit nervous if there's like a discrepancy between the cumulative and the science. Because my cumulative is a 3.7. So I didn't know if they're, it's I gotta just chill.
Normal. You have to chill. You have to completely block SDN from all of your devices.
Yes, I have to.
And you have to realize that you are more than your stats. And that your stats are great. You have good stats. You have nothing to be concerned about stat-wise. You had one poor semester, which in the grand scheme of things I don't know, it's not very usual where you get 2.7 science GPA without any C's. And so it just is what it is. Obviously, a B minus counts for like a 2.8 or 2.7, so that's where that comes from. But in the big picture, the totality, and this is where schools really harp on holistic admissions, right? Is what does the big picture look like? Not, oh my gosh, you have a 3.58 science GPA, you're never going to be good enough. You have a 3 science cumulative GPA, 3.58 science GPA. Those are solid numbers. Get off of SDN.
Yes.
Stop worrying about the minutia in the details. Worry about your total application. Obviously, the MCAT is a big factor, so make sure, just standard feedback for everyone, make sure you treat the MCAT with respect and do well there. Make sure you're getting the clinical experiences and the shadowing experiences so that you have a solid foundation on why you are wanting to go into medicine, so you can put that in a personal statement and throughout your application, really making it resonate that this is what you want to do, and then crush it in your interviews.
Awesome. Could I ask you one more question?
Of course.
So I am Colombian. I'm Latina. And so much of my story is rooted in my culture.
Mm-hmm.
And so much of the reason why I want to be a physician goes back to my culture, to my ethnicity, and the way I was raised within that ethnicity and that culture. And when I tell you that so much of it goes back to that, so much of it does, but I also don't want it to seem like overkill on my application.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't wanna be screaming in anybody's face, "Hey, I am Latina," you know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
don't know if you have any advice on how to have a good balance, because
Yeah.
it's genuine for me.
I,
It all really does go back. Sorry.
I think it really depends on how you communicate what the culture, how that culture actually is driving you to want to be a physician. I think you have to be careful because a lot of times students will focus on that, and it really doesn't make sense as to X leading to Y, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so you're Colombian, you're Latina. Okay, there's lots of Latina women who don't want to be physicians, right? They're in touch with their culture just as much as you are, and they don't want to. They don't want to go into medicine. They want to cook their culture and open a restaurant. They want to do whatever it is that is tied with their culture in the way that resonates with them. And so I think you have to be very careful just focusing on culture and making sure that there is a solid connection between what you think you're talking about in terms of culture and wanting to having culture be a big part of what you're doing, and really connecting with why you want to be a physician.
Right. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Okay. Thank you.
You are
Uh
welcome. Anything else?
Honestly, no, that kind of I mean, I'm sure I could sit here all day asking you million questions, but no, I think those were the main ones that I was concerned about.
All right. Well, good luck to you in the future.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Gray.
You're welcome.